All right, guys, whitetail road trip. Andrew and I are on the way to Kentucky. We've gotten everything kind of set up in South Carolina, getting ready for the rut to kick off there into September, 1st of October. But headed to Kentucky to get things set up, maybe do some glassing, and maybe even hunt a little bit. Now, that's really not the purpose of the trip. The purpose of the trip is to go get that rut funnel set back up. So we're going to film all that, kind of the step-by-step of getting that fixed up and ready to go for the rut. And then next week we'll be off to Kansas and Chattanooga to see Bobby Worthington in Chattanooga, and then on to Kansas to get with Chris Seymour, get some farms set up there. So that is the plan. That is where we're headed.
You still want me? 'Cause babe, I want it. Do you still want me? I got a bag of money, honey, and it don't belong to me. Took it from a man that had it coming, so you know it wasn't free. We'll load this Smith and Wesson up and take our horses east. And if we run into any trouble, we'll leave them in the crimson streets, darling. You fell in love with the famous man. See my pictures posted everywhere across the land.
Come up to this gap here, come out here, come running right down through here. See, he's trotting down through here and turn and come right out in there. See, that's the same ditch that runs all the way down. I'm
gonna put it on that tree. This is wild, guys. I've been hunting out here with Craig since really probably I guess around 2010, 2012. And back then I had a farm in Illinois called the 29. And I brought a bunch of cameras out here and left them. And look at this. This is a 2010 or 2011 Moultrie camera, still going strong with the 29 on it. That is wild. I'm gonna have to frame that thing when it finally dies. No. So that's the...
See, all these bucks in the woods here somewhere.
Yeah, that's what happened. The antenna's broken.
See, you got nice browns, nice.
Well, let's look at the SD card.
Okay.
Just because it wasn't sending pictures, you want to just pull this camera
just
out?
Take it. We'll just bring a better one tomorrow somehow. We'll get something. Been on there.
Made it to Kentucky and went and rode around, checked some trail cameras. Got a couple more trail cameras out. The plan, again, for this trip is to get our rut funnel all set up and ready to go. We're going to do that all day tomorrow. The season is in now. It's September 12th. The season opened kind of late this year. Like, it came in the first Saturday, which I think was the 6th or 7th, which is really when those bucks are starting to come out of velvet and get off of that natural summer pattern. So not expecting a whole lot. We are going to glass this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon because the season's in and we may stumble across something. So while we're here, we're going to take full advantage of all of our time, maybe even get out in the morning and glass a little bit. But the point is to get the rut funnel set. We're going to check the straps on the stand, check shooting lanes, make sure the scrapes are still open or put in some mock scrapes. If we've got to tighten up anything or do any hinge cutting, we'll do that. So that is the really mission that we're on for this trip. But the season is in, and while we're here, absolutely, we're going to take advantage of every minute that we're here. We're going to glass in the afternoon, glass in the mornings, see if we see anything or stumble on anything, and then, of course, we would hunt. But plan again, get the rut funnel set, and we're going to go get dinner after it gets dark, get a little rest, and get back after it in the morning. All right, first morning in Kentucky. And we glassed a little bit this morning right there at the quote-unquote home farm and saw some does, young bucks, kind of what was expected. So we are headed right now to the rut funnel to get it all tightened up. I'm anticipating a couple hours of that. We're going to show that kind of play-by-play. Then we'll come back out of there, and then we're going to different farms to do some scouting, get some more cameras out, and just really maximize this short trip. Do everything we can in 2 to 3 days to uncover every stone, get everything set, so come rut, we are dialed in and ready to go. So that's what we're doing, headed to the woods right now, and we'll get back with you shortly. Placement straps. Already got a lifeline in there. Ticks. I'm not a real fan of Lyme's disease, so this thing's got 40 or 50% DEET in it. That helps keep the ticks off. So we just gotten into where the kind of the funnel starts. First trail is right there, and then we'll walk across trail number 2, trail number 3, main trail. I mean, this one's kind of crazy good. Trail number 4, trail number 5, right here, right along, and you see the bluff and the river. See the bluff and the river right there? So it's 5 major trails, and those things split off and make multiple trails, and I'll show you where they all lead. All of them come in right here on this point and dip down where they can get down the bluff. And then you got that ditch on that far side, so you can see this highway. Here comes the other two from up there. And the other two trails. Right there, 1 and 2. And they all funnel down to right there. And if you look real close up in that tree, you'll see the stand. So the plan now, the first thing we're gonna do is re-secure the stand, because it's been hanging there since last year, so I bought replacement straps. So we're gonna go hook in, climb all the way up and get in the stand, make sure everything's safe and secure, and then look at our shooting lanes. So that's phase one. That's the first thing we're gonna do. Make sure the shooting lanes are all still good. We'll get back down, put some mock scrapes in here on these different trails, and then we're gonna reset the camera, which is sitting right there. So that is the mission this morning, to get all this reset. And then we will not be back in here until the end of October, 1st of November, when that pre-rut the bucks start cruising in daylight. All right, stand 100% secure, good to go. Lifeline, high straps replaced, and as always, stuff's grown up, so got to cut some shooting lanes now or freshen them back up. Then we'll put the mock scrapes in, redo the camera. Gonna be a little bit quicker than I thought. All the hinge cutting is still really good, pushing the trails where we want them to go. So all is right there. This is the last trail right here. And this is actually the trail I shot him on last year. He was standing right here when I shot him. Now I just need to get that wound good to here. All right, then one more tree to cut and we're done. All right, so stand set, shooting lanes are cut. I marked them from up there. Now if I had a buddy with me, other than Andrew, who's running the camera, they could have done the sawing while I was up there, but the natural play here is to say, okay, that's good enough. But what I'm actually gonna do is climb back up in the stand and verify everything I cut was good. Now, obviously, come November, end of October, November, the leaves are gonna be off the trees, so it's gonna be even more open up, but just wanna go back up one more time, verify, and then we'll move to phase 3. All right, this is a little multi-tool here. Got a rake on this side, hoe on this side. Real packable. Just a little, you can get them at a garden shop, but does great if you got to cut some roots with this in, or rake all the leaves and dirt out and get down deep and get a big mock scrape. Don't normally use scents in any of my mock scrapes. This is Troy Pottinger's blend from Washington, Idaho area. And he says it works great up in the big woods, so I'm gonna give it a try this year. Been trying it at home some, but golly, we've gotten so much rain, it's washed everything away. So yeah, we'll use a little scent, you know, it's still early, and see how it does. We got a camera right down there. We're gonna put 3 mock scrapes in here. The point of these mock scrapes, I'm not trying to lure a buck into this spot. What I'm trying to do is when the rut gets going and that long range travel gets started, and a buck that might not even be from this area, he comes from 3-4 miles away and he drips through here and he sees a great big pawed out place, it's gonna make him stop in the funnel. So that's the point of putting these in. I'm not trying to lure something in here. I'm hoping some small bucks and does, keep them open. But when that big guy comes through here later into October, November, he's gonna see that big pawed out area and at least stop there and give me a great shot. So major 3 trails are all getting a mock scrape for that purpose. All right, so we just dropped that first one, and that's on, there's 2 trails that come together right there, long range trails. So we dumped one right there that's only 10 yards from the base of the tree. This one's down here where 2 of the other trails come together, and then there's another one up top. So we're gonna put one in every one of these junctions, and they all merge into right here. So this scrape right here with this grapevine, I gotta do some adjusting to it, it's too low. I'll clip it off. But this was the one, the big 10 point, kept hitting last year, opened up the night before we killed him, and we got our camera right there. So this is a big one, and it makes sense because this is where all the trails end up. The other 2, I'm sure they got work. They don't have cameras on them. They were open when we got here to hunt. But again, the point being, if a buck's coming down from that area off of one of these other ones, he's gonna stop at that scrape and 10 to 18 yard shot. This one is about 20 yards. So that's the plan, is to get these all refreshened and back up running. So what I'm doing here, this is on a little bit of an angle. I wanna flatten it out. So I'm just pulling some dirt from this far side and trying to flatten this out. They like a real flat area. So we had a little bit of runoff here. Flatten this down, get rid of that root. I'm gonna zip tie a branch in here too. So we got a great licking branch here, and they were hammering it last year with this grapevine. I'm gonna add a little bit of structure to it, just so he can get his antlers up in there and really work it. So just cut a little bushy sapling and gonna zip tie it right up here, so there's more for him to play with and mess with. It gives him all the options. Want to make it as good as possible, and this will help. So just a simple zip tie. As Bobby Worthington says, it's an old Indian trick. Right, Bobby? All right, that is a grade A mock scrape. Another Indian trick. My zip ties aren't long enough, so I'm having to extend them a little bit. Now that guy can't. Another Bobbyism. That's Sir Isaac Newton. He invented that thing called gravity. That's what we're working against here. Oh God, I love that guy. Not Isaac Newton. Bobby Worthington. All right, last but not least, camera. That's too far. That's gonna freak out any deer that walks up that way. They can see it. Don't get enough of this if I put it on that tree. The point is to get everything going this way. All right, the camera is pretty darn close to scrape and where all these trails come together. So got a big log here to help hide it up against this tree. Pretty good and hidden on this bark. It blends in pretty good, but just another structure there to hide it. And then on the back side, I took the clamp and rolled it all the way to the back of the tree. So anything coming up this way wouldn't see that clamp. It's something small, but it's definitely going to help. So that's why we put that big log there. I think the angle of the camera, always look at right where the middle of the camera is going to be. It's not bad. Right in the middle of the camera is right there, and there's two major trails there. I just worry if they're coming or going, we're going to get them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the top of the camera down just a hair. Rut funnel, Kentucky, done and dusted. Last thing I'm going to do, just one more time, I do this for all my funnel spots, walk over to the base of the tree, not from here or the road, but actually, or on X or anything else, base of the tree, dial in the perfect wind direction. And then the mistake I made here last year was access. I didn't follow the river all the way out. I know now I can't get in and out that way, so I got to come straight across the funnel. So I'm going to walk this thing out to the road and maybe mark with my saw just a couple little marking points of where to cross this big ditch so we can get straight in here. So that's everything else is done. Wind direction, access, finished. Will not be back until we start getting some cruising on this camera. So dead west to dead north. So any dead north all the way to west, southwest. But really those winter northwest winds, this stand is absolutely bulletproof morning and evenings. And what one log stump right there. Double fork tree down the main road, in right here. Skin up tree, up the bank, straight shot in. As clean as we can make it. Got that all done. Went a lot quicker than I thought it was going to because we had so much prep last year. We'll get a little bit of drone footage of that bluff and the river, and then we are out of here onto the next farm to go actually scout this one. Never set foot on this one, drove in it yesterday, so we're gonna go look around in there. Look pretty promising, so that's our next stop. Well, end of day 2 of our scouting mission, and we glassed a big bean field that had a ton of browse this evening, and we're going to walk this farm tomorrow morning before we head back to South Carolina. Saw quite a few does out this evening, no bucks, a couple trail cameras that have been running out here, and there are a few bucks, but got a little history on the place, and apparently there's some big deer in here. So we're going to walk the woods tomorrow, see if we can locate a good rut funnel, maybe get a couple cameras up, and then we're going to boogie back to South Carolina. So about to wrap up the trip, short and sweet, but it was a good one. Got a lot of intel and getting prepared for the rut. All right, last morning in Kentucky, trip's been really good. New farm we got access to. We're about to walk the whole thing to try and find a good rut funnel. We're going to start off and walk down this big creek and see what's going on there. It connects 2 big wood lots, and then we're going to dive into the back side of this property, which is a big rolling hill type terrain feature, and see if there aren't some pinches back in there. So going to walk the whole thing from top to bottom, see if we can find anything. We may not. If we do, we'll definitely show it and show how we're going to set it up. To this corner. love to get up that hill. Let me scurry up that hill and just check that slide. That action shot, I feel like freaking Batman.
Oh yeah.
Walked the whole creek back to the west, and so far nothing. Found one little junction, but not enough structure to force anything down. So far nothing worth putting a camera in. But hey, that's good to rule stuff out. So we got 2 more spots to check: the other end of this creek and then the big block of woods. So that's where we're off to. Now this would be good to have a camera on for early season. Literally one of the only pools of water, the only pool of water we found in this creek. Another old rub right here. Another old rub right here. Another old rub right here. Another old rub right here, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Every sapling, another one. Every sapling at the end of this bluff is ripped up, and it's all historic. You got some that are 3 years old, 2 years old last year, so they're coming right around this point. This is a great looking spot for a potential rut. Cross trails right here. And that's running on top of the bluff. Another old rub. Another old big rub right there. And the trails, look at this one up here. One right there, big one right there. Hang in to that point. I mean, it's good. It's really good. Major trail, but there's nothing here that forces it. There's nothing here that forces these deer anywhere. It's a trail along the edge of the ridge, and a trail cutting across the middle of the timber. It's a well-used trail, but it's nothing forcing them down. So this is a good spot, but it's not nearly as good as the one with the bluff. Because you got this major trail, and then that is some pretty steep terrain. But you know what's really interesting about this? This major trail goes all the way to the bluff.
Mm-hmm.
It goes across that field. And we'll probably end up walking it back. So funny. Trail goes right across the head of this ditch. See, they know right where they're going. See it? I mean, we followed this trail for, I don't know, 600-700 yards, and it goes right at the foot of this ditch. So they don't have to cross that right here. This would be a B spot because it's one long range travel corridor right here skirting this ditch versus the funnel or the bluff that had 3 major trails coming right there to get around the bluff. So this one goes all the way there. So we're gonna get all these deer that are traveling, and they all come down to that point. And the only thing I worry about is a bunch of water getting in there. We got to think this through. Take my pack off and we'll get this figured out. Trail there, trail there. Fence bluff here. So nothing up here. A little bit of traffic. Why in the hell would they come up right there? Our access is going to be the issue. This is the one that we followed that went forever, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Where they go up under this fence. Yeah, and then right over it right there. All right, so we got to be able to shoot this. We got to be able to shoot that. All right, so one of these down here, and hope we don't have a whole lot of rain and we can get to it. That's going to be the There's our tree right there. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. West. Yep. West is no good. So we can go from southwest north is no good. So we can go from southwest to northeast. All right. Come across right here. Yeah, it won't be too bad if we don't have a bunch of water in the river. That's going to be the key, but the access is right there. I'll mark that point when we go out because all that tobacco will be gone. It'll just be a bare field. We can ride the bike right across, hop down up the creek, in the tree. Easy in and out. So that's bulletproof. It'll be a hanging hunt. So we will cut a bunch of this stuff so we can shoot all the way to that big white oak right there. It's not going to be a whole lot to cut. And then I'm going to put, the camera is going to be the issue. All right, we got that trail right through here. We got this trail off of here and this one off of here. They're all going this way. Yeah, there's deer tracks all in here. It's not an ideal spot for a mock scrape. So it might not be one, might not put one in here. I will put a mock scrape up there, but I'm not going to put a camera on it. I'm going to put the camera right here where all these trails meet. That is exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to put the camera, I'm going to have to really disguise it. All right, let's go get her. We're going to put the camera right here. Up high facing right down there, and we're gonna hide the crap out of it. Okay, like it?
Like it.
All right, let's go make our mock scrape. Get our shooting lanes cut. Clean that up. All right. Zip tie. Cut it just a little bit so it stays alive. Here we go. But it's not going to have all that spring in it. I would love a grapevine. That ain't going anywhere. Maybe this one. Shit. Cutting all the rubbing trees off. It's pretty good. Yep. Plenty of cover up there, even when the tree limbs get off. Get it that limb that goes off to the right, the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Put the platform right there. Tons of cover. 15 to 18 yard shot. Perfect. Perfect height. Repping that ASIO on the back. Yep. Happy with this. All right, now we'll hide it. 480, 90 acres. We just walked basically all the woods, all the topography, the edge of a bunch of the fields. Found one spot, and it is a good spot. 4 long-range trails come together at a big bluff. Camera set up right here. Really hit it well because it's right on top of one of the trails. Got good access unless this river gets full that creates that bluff, obviously. We'll have to come up with another plan with a little pirogue or canoe or kayak or something to get across if this river fills up, but we're done. We got our 2 rut funnels set up in Kentucky. We're gonna head back to South Carolina this afternoon. Quick 2.5 day trip. Got done what we needed to get done. It was a very good trip. Now we go home, start hunting the swamp buck, wait for the rut in the Midwest, get to Kansas next week. Still a lot to do, but it was a great trip. So mission accomplished.
Do you still want me? I got a bag of money, honey, and it don't belong to me. Took it from a man that had it coming, so you know it wasn't free. We'll load this Smith and Wesson up and take our horses east. And if we run into any trouble, we'll leave them in the crimson streets, darling. You fell in love with the famous man. See my pictures posted everywhere across the land. And if you run with me, you've got to understand that you're holding on to a dangerous hand. If I want it, would you still want me? 'Cause babe, I want it.